Hello there fellow humans, and today I'm going to review the ATAC. Don't buy the ATAC. Now, this is a tier 9 light tank, and there are not that many tier 9 light tanks, and they're okay. This thing has a very funky gun, we'll get into the stats later, but obviously the vehicle starts off badly. Like any other wargaming tank that is released, it starts off in crates, which obviously makes it not worth buying, and you shouldn't even consider it. Now, that's not the only reason why you shouldn't consider this vehicle. We'll get into that later. But first of all, obviously, it is in crates. It also has a camouflage to inflate the value of the bundles. There we go, 30 charms. Remember, back in the day, it used to be 25 charms, now it's 30. I'm still waiting for the day when it's going to be 35, sneakily put in there, because Wargaming's bundles are getting worse and worse by the minute. So, we have a bad offer right here. Also, this is not a shop review video, but generally, there isn't anything good in here, except for the Type 57, but that's like 7.5k. So if you need a good Soviet-style heavy tank, it's Japanese, I know, but it plays similar to the Soviet-style heavy tanks with gun depression, this is a good bundle and a solid price for a great tank. But anyway, the rest is trash. And there's also these offers still in the shop, which at this point probably celebrate the downfall of the American Reich any moment now.
A change has come to the Western states.
The Concept 1B is a great tank. 17,500 is a great price for it. I definitely recommend that. Now, the T95E6 had gotten buffed. It's a pretty good tank. It's the same price. Which one would I choose? Well, if you like medium tanks more, the T95 is probably the better choice. If you like heavy tanks, if you like the T125 especially, then the Concept 1B is an excellent addition to your garage. If you enjoy the E5, this is going to be a pretty good upgrade. Now, the T77 and the T482, these are 10,500. It's an okay price. Unfortunately, the ×5s are locked to the vehicles each time, so that's not great, but you can't really go any wrong with this vehicle. The T482 is a great tank, 9.5k is a good price for it as well. Wargaming actually put something decent in the shop here for once. I would ignore these down here, the M4 was a joke, but yeah, I mean, I think these are good bundles. And then at tier 8, the T482 is pretty much one of the best credit grinding vehicles in the entire game. If you don't already have the T482, get it right now. Ignore the ATAC. That's not what this is about. Get the T482 right now, because I'll get to the ATAC in a second, but this is more important, because you don't want the ATAC anyway, don't worry. I'm not wasting your time. You're wasting your time if you continue watching the video after this section ends. So, basically, if you like autoloaders, T77 is an absolutely amazing purchase. I highly recommend it. If you don't really like autoloaders, T482 is your #1 choice right there. And again, for the tier 10, you can't really go wrong with any of these 4 vehicles up here at all. All of them are great in their own right. And which one you choose pretty much depends on what tanks you have that you already like. Pretty much. If you have autoloaders, you like autoloaders, T77 is your perfect choice. Otherwise, T482, if you want to grind creds. If you're more of a fan of like medium heavies, T95E6 is your choice. And if you really love the T125 and you want more, then the Concept 1B is an amazing choice as well. And now, to the bad part of the video. Now let's look at the ATAC, and it has 2 different guns that are both equally bad. 2,600 DPM versus 2,800 DPM, 5% difference, doesn't really matter all that much. The alpha damage, 160 on this one and 90 on the smaller one. The reload time is the same, and the clip, obviously because this one has a little bit higher DPM, the clip on the 90 alpha damage gun is a little bit higher. This one has 3 shells every time, 4 times in each clip, and this one has 3 clips, 2 shells each time you fire, and the 2 shells unloads in 0.71, this one unloads in 0.33. Basically, you have 0.66, 0.71, no difference there. Both the shells unload at the same rate, and then you have 1.4 seconds till you can fire the next shell. Now, involuntary shells are a bad thing, which means shells that you can't control when they fire. Because this one, it goes out, and then 0.71 seconds later, there is the next shell. This one, your shell goes out, and then you have 0.33, 0.33 later, 2 other shells. I'd rather have this one, because then I can more precisely control the second shell, rather than here having very little time to re-aim the second and third shell. Because why am I saying that? Because this is a light tank. You're primarily going to engage medium and light tanks, and with a shell velocity this atrocious at 750, and we'll get into that, it gets worse, with a shell velocity this atrocious, if the enemy tank moves at all, you will have to re-aim your shells that you can't control to fire. So this is a very big downside of the vehicle. Involuntary shells are never a good thing. Same with the Annihilator. It doesn't, I mean, the Annihilator, it sort of works there because it only has it once and then it reloads fully, but this is a clip in a clip with this vehicle, which makes it even worse. So you are going to have to re-aim these shells, and it's not fun with the terrible shell velocity. Also, 300 shell velocity. Most of the time, if you have a shell velocity near 1,000 or above 1,000, it doesn't really matter that much. You will be fine. However, 750 is already questionable and not that good. But 300 is dog shit. You cannot aim these shells at a moving target unless you pre-aim them massively. So this is not good, because not only are they extremely slow, you will also have to re-aim the second and possibly third shell on this gun when an enemy is moving or simply just peeking. So basically, any competent enemy player will be defeated by this tank's mechanic, because the enemy could just peek, move back, and you can't do anything about it because the shells are ass slow and the reload isn't good. So I don't know, whoever thought of this, it is a new mechanic sort of that hasn't really been used that much, an autoloader in an autoloader, but it's not a good mechanic. But anyway, rant over. The weapon handling is pretty good. 0.32 accuracy, 1.5 seconds aim time, no complaints there. 9 degrees of gun depression, that's pretty good. The mobility is like the same as the Object 84. It's a light tank. The traverse is pretty good, but yeah, it has no notable advantage over other light tanks. It's a bit slower than the T-92, a bit slower than the Batshot, which has a real autoloader, by the way. If we have a quick look at that, it does have 310 alpha damage. It does have a real shell velocity. It has similar DPM, and, well, it has a regular premium rounds as well, not this crappy, absolutely crappy Hesh or whatever that is. 145 is a joke for that. So the Batshot AP has a better gun by a lot. So, I mean, the aim time is a little bit worse. The problem with the Batshot is the gun depression. But the Batshot has a much better gun than this vehicle, because you can control the shells, you have better alpha damage. Sure, you have the bigger interclip reload, but you can actually control the shells, which is very important. So, yeah, the armor, it's a light tank, it doesn't exist. It does not have any armor. And now let's get into the battle with the ATAC, because I don't want to have to play this thing twice. This thing is everything that a light tank is not supposed to be. It's massive. I mean, it doesn't have any armor. It does have some decent angles that you can bounce off, like on a turret up here. But this is basically everything that a light tank's not supposed to be. Luckily, the enemy doesn't have a light tank. I don't have to actually fight anybody, otherwise I would have a problem. Now, here's the thing. The shells are ass slow, which is bad, because you can't track anybody. The reload is not good either, because you have this autoloader, and in that autoloader you have 2 shells or 3 shells, which means that if you want to aim at somebody, if you want to fire at somebody and they're moving, you're going to waste a shell. So there's going to be a lot of shell wastage in this vehicle. If I'm looking at a grill here, I'm not even going to attempt the HE on the grill, because let's try this. Look at that. You cannot aim those shells at long distance and at a moving target. Those cannot be aimed, because they're not going to hit anyway. You can get lucky, but maybe with 200 battles worth of training, you might eventually start hitting them if the enemy goes in a straight line that is predictable, instead of turning, you know, because if the enemy slightly turns, then guess what? You're not going to hit him. And there we go. But yeah, those Hesh shells are essentially at a long range are useless. And in the close range, well, you have to use them against light tanks, because 145 penetration isn't enough to go through anything notable. Then the next problem this vehicle also has, not just the slow reload and the shell wastage, it's also a problem of peeking. Because I'm driving up here, right? Now, I have to stay. I have to stay. I cannot move away. Obviously, I'm staying now voluntarily. There we go. But if you're peeking, you have this 0.7 seconds where the gun is still firing that you have to stay out in the open. And you have to keep aiming. That gives the enemy, even a heavy tank, with bad aim time, gives him a very good chance to aim at you and hit you. And because your armor doesn't really exist, they're probably going to go through it. So that is a overall awful mechanic. Because look at this. I cannot move. Obviously, I don't have to right now, because the only one that's the grill and that's hiding. But I can't move into cover while the gun is still firing. So I'm always going to be vulnerable and exposed. Much more than other light and medium tanks would be, that don't have this problem. I mean, sure, the Annihilator has a has that problem once, but the Annihilator doesn't have it in a clip, and it has like 1/600. This is a clip in a clip right here. So, not only is the shell velocity awful, not only is the unload mechanic awful, but it's also awful for the tank because it is a large vehicle that has to stay peaked for a long time to unload its damage. And that overall makes this vehicle absolute garbage.